Welcome back to the Brighton Chamber Podcast. I'm your host, Cameron Harris, and today I'm joined by Allison and Ben Kellogg from Appliance Solutions. Welcome to the studio.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us. This is great.
So first off, tell me about Appliance Solutions. What is it exactly?
So we're a brand new household appliance store right here in Brighton, providing that personalized shopping experience to help our customers find the appliances that fits their home and their lifestyle and their budget.
And for us, being an independent appliance store where it's family owned, there is that stigma that people assume that we're going to be more expensive and people would love to shop local and support us. But typically we're actually beating the box store prices, and we offer delivery, hookup, and haul away, so installation services as well.
And of course, that after sales support, right? If there's any issues with the appliances, we're there to support you throughout.
So what are some of the ideal clients that you guys find work best with you guys?
Yeah, so we love, people walking in off the street, finding us. Maybe they've been frustrated searching online or going to a big box store, and really helping make that selection process easier. And we also love working with builders and designers.
Yeah, definitely. And the whole idea of when somebody comes in sometimes frustrated, because there is. People don't buy appliances every day. Sometimes it's been 10, 15, 20 years, and they go to look up, well, I want a Bosch dishwasher, but there's 100 Bosch dishwashers. Which one do I get? So having us be able to wade through it and figure it all out for you and let you know the differences. Maybe you might not need a certain feature that's on there. So, and then builders and designers, that networking, building that business and realizing that we're all in the same trade together, and if we can help each other out, whether a quick phone call or an email, we'd love to help. I guess one that I've seen that seems to be a little weird in my mind is that you can get cameras on the inside of your refrigerator and on the inside of your oven. So I don't think I would necessarily use this, but the idea is you could check status from your phone. So if you're at the grocery store and you want to see if you have milk, you can look inside your phone and see inside your refrigerator to see if you're missing it. Or the oven, where there's a lot of people that like to post certain videos of their bread growing inside the oven, which is kind of cool. And I like watching those videos too. But I do worry that when you self-clean that oven routinely over the years, how is that camera going to hold up, being self-cleaned at 700 degrees?
Yeah, no, exactly. And just another thing to kind of break or go wrong to have it get fixed or whatever, just another expense in that regard.
Oh, the tablet on the front of the refrigerator. I always like that idea too. But then I think, in warranty, they'll replace the door. But when it's out of warranty, how much does that door cost? Is it over $1,000 for a new door? So nobody really wants to work on the pad on the front. They'll just change out the door. So sometimes that makes me a little bit nervous too.
Yeah. Speaking of warranties, what are your thoughts on extended warranties? Is it actually worth it, or is it kind of just...
So I come from a background in insurance, so I'm naturally a very risk-adverse person. Ben's a little bit riskier, right? So I always think that comes down to risk tolerance, right? What makes you feel better? What makes you sleep at night? It's one of those things where it's hard. If we sell it to somebody and they never need it, they go, darn it, I just wasted money. But if you don't buy it and you have an issue, you're really bummed. So we love to be able to offer it. Most of the manufacturers come with at least a 1-year warranty, and some of them more. But yeah, it's nice to have that available to add on for that person who just doesn't even want to have to worry about it.
And while you're still within the manufacturer's warranty, you can add the extended warranty on, up until 9 months. And so a lot of times I tell people, you almost kind of know if you have a lemon or not, and so people to add that extended warranty on there. And it can be an extension on top of the manufacturer's warranty, so you don't feel like you're wasting any warranty.
Definitely. So as far as brands go, what was one off-brand or not necessarily name brand item that you found was really surprising?
So we love Speed Queen Laundry. They're built in Ripon, Wisconsin since 1908, so a great American company. A lot of people aren't familiar with them, but they originated in laundromats. They originally started with coin-operated laundry, so they're just great workhorses. And you can't find them at the box stores, which is why I think some people aren't as familiar with them. But those who are love Speed Queen. We have Speed Queen in our house. They are amazing. They come with 3, 5, and 7-year warranties. Tend to not have a lot of issues with them, and they do a great job of cleaning your clothes.
They're not as big as far as cubic foot capacity, so some people look at that as, I don't know if I'm going to want this washer, but I tell people we have a king-size comforter, and we put it in there, and it cleans it just fine. So I do like the Speed Queen a lot. They're just built like a tank. We feel good selling them, knowing that we tell people it's the closest thing to the older Maytags, an old unit that used to last, 20 years. This is the only one and they still claim to be 25 years, where nobody else in our industry will even say 10 years on their unit now.
Speaking of 10 years, where has the market gone in the last 10 years, and where do you see it kind of leading into the next 10 years as far as like change in technology or just energy efficiency, different things like that?
Yeah, I mean, as far as the technology, obviously there's a big push for smart technology and Wi-Fi, and I feel like that's kind of a mix. More of our generation is supposed to like the Wi-Fi and the connectivity, and I'm not necessarily a huge fan of it. The one thing that I heard from somebody in service said that eventually they're working on trying to remote diagnose. So if they can come out there and or remote diagnose your appliance over the phone or figure it out over your network, then they can avoid the additional service call and only come out once. So I did kind of like that aspect. And then Allison, you can even talk if you want about colors, because that's kind of the new thing now for appliances is instead of the sea of stainless is what the different
Yeah. For years, it was just really stainless out there. And now people are coming back to saying, hey, we want some color options. So, some of the brands have the beautiful matte white and matte black options with the customizable handles and pulls. We're seeing in laundry a lot of fun colors. We have quite a few on our showroom display right now, like a dark blue that's got like some specks in it, some grays, some dark greens, a glacier blue that's really light and bright. So people are starting to mix up the colors and wanting a little bit more customization colors at a affordable price point.
Yeah.
Well, going with colors, I know some people will kind of are choosing more very much out there colors. Like I've seen some appliances that are just a bold yellow or green as like kind of more of a statement piece.
Yeah.
Some people like to have just that one statement, Bertazzoni bright orange range. The rest of it's all stainless, but then they're like, that's my kind of my statement piece. And some people who do that where they're like, okay, I went bright purple or I do this. And I had one woman who did a rainbow house where I felt like one was a different color for every piece. And that was kind of unique, maybe not great for resale. But I have seen that more and more where people will end up doing everything stainless or panel ready and then have one statement copper hood or something, or one statement green, green range or something.
Yeah,
What they're
so I
trying
think
to
that's
do.
a great question.
Oh,
about where
definitely,
you were
yeah,
going with
because
that.
you're right. It's almost like, well, do I want this? But I think for some people it can be that statement piece.
Mm-hmm. So, what are some things that you see people doing wrong when buying appliances?
I think sometimes people aren't doing maybe their research and they're just, especially we're seeing this with tariffs, right? People are panicking, prices are going to increase. We had a woman come in, she's got some very old appliances, unique cutout dimensions, and just, hey, I need to get something before prices increase. But there are really unique dimensions and you have to think, is that going to fit? Do we need to modify cabinets? Is it even possible to modify that cabinet in a way that will fit? So not doing your research maybe on your cutout dimensions and your specifications.
I think that's huge. I think a lot of people come in and they say my refrigerator is about as tall as me, and I'm like, well, okay, let's figure out exactly how tall it is, because they do. Forever refrigerators were 68 or 69 inches, and now they're all 70 to 72 inches. So depending on where your cabinets are, and if it's next to a wall oven or something else, it might bump into it with the handle. And so figuring out if your dishwasher's in a corner, and if you have a handle on your dishwasher, you might not be able to open a certain cupboard. And so we like to ask all those questions too, just to avoid all that before we come out there and figure out did you get new flooring put in? And is your old dishwasher trapped in there? You're not going to be able to get it out. So we like to ask all those questions first. And then even for us too, when we deliver and install, we like to unpack all of our appliances, check for damage immediately. Refrigerators, we plug in and get cold and ready before we bring them out there just to make sure that they're working. And even when we're out there too for washing machines and dishwashers, we run them through a quick cycle just to make sure that they're getting water and they're draining before we leave.
Yeah. No, I didn't even think about that, like trying to get the appliance necessarily into the spot for it.
Yeah.
Kind of just something you don't really even think about until you're kind of in the heat of the moment, I guess.
Well, and everybody figures, it's a 30-inch oven. It's fairly standard. If it's a range, it is fairly standard. But if it's a wall oven, that's when it can change. Or a cooktop, they go, it's just a 30-inch cooktop. And I go, yeah, but your cutout dimension is actually 28 and a half or 28 and a quarter. And depending on the manufacturer, that can make a difference. And if you have granite, then they're surprised when they got to have somebody come out there and charge them a couple $100 to cut the granite. And so, again, we like to try to avoid that and figure all that out first.
Definitely. So what are some ways that you guys are involved in the community in Brighton?
Yeah, we love being involved in the community, and Brighton is such a great town. We're really involved in the Brighton Chamber. They've been so great and so supportive of us. We're also involved in the Home Builders Association. And then we're just trying to find ways to give back to the community. if we deliver appliances and there's still a working appliance in the household that we're replacing, we put them into a donation portion of our warehouse, and we're looking to partner with local organizations like Habitat for Humanity, La Casa, and make sure that those appliances are kept out of the landfills and get into the homes of people who need them. We always say if you can't afford refrigeration or cooking, you can't afford to not have refrigeration and cooking. So that's something that we're passionate about and hoping to expand that program as we grow.
No, that's huge. That definitely makes a difference, I'm sure. We've touched on a lot here today. Is there anything else that you can think of that we haven't necessarily talked about?
I guess having us involved in the process as early as possible. So again, we love working with builders and designers. A key thing to work with a builder is, knowing certain cutout dimensions and realizing that you could have the possibility to recess your refrigerator in a little more, and you can get a larger refrigerator that actually costs less money and looks more built in, which is kind of nice. People like to put microwave drawers in, which is unique. Trying to figure out the right cutout dimension for your house that's going to work, whether it's gas lines or water lines. So if you're looking to, move your microwave from being above your range and you want to put it somewhere else and you want a nice fancy hood, then you got to start thinking about ductwork and where it's going to go and what the CFM is. And so I know I'm throwing a lot at you there, but in general, it's nice to have us involved as early as possible. And I always tell people I'm just a phone call away or an email away. And I would love to help you right in the moment and get right back to you. So.
And I think to that point, I'll just build off that. When you said you're only an email or phone call away, I know, there's people of, the younger generation that they don't want to take the time to come into the store. So we do have a beautiful showroom for people who want to, but we do a shocking amount of business just over an email, over a phone call. Lots of appliances go out that, the customer's never even been in to meet us in person. So we truly are just a phone call and an email away.
So where exactly can people find you guys? Like address or your phone number or, your website? Where should they go to get more information about you guys?
Yeah, absolutely. So our showroom is at 10010 East Grand River Avenue, right here in Brighton. You can also find us at shopappliancesolutions.com. And from our website, you can find our Facebook, our Instagram, and our TikTok.
Awesome. So we'll have all that in the description below. So if anybody wants to find out more, they should definitely go there. But Allison, Ben, this has been great. And thank you for joining us. And we'll catch you on the next episode.